Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, 7 Mexican nationals believed to have entered Belize illegally are being investigated by the Immigration Department. And adjustment in pay scale for pharmacists who work in the public sector. High-level meeting takes place between Mexico and Belize to strengthen security measures along the Rio Hondo. And electrification and land expansion coming soon for Orange Walk East. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023.
When we were elected in 2021, we were determined to work hard for the benefit of the people. In just 2.5 years, we have accomplished a lot. Amongst many of our accomplishments, we are proud to say that we have acquired the most vehicles and machinery ever acquired by any council in just a short time. Under the leadership of Mayor Ladrick Shepherd, your Orange Walk Town Council has acquired a grader, a backhoe, a garbage compactor truck, a water truck, 2 brand new utility Kias, and a brand new patrol pickup for the traffic department. With this equipment, we're able to do a lot more. We remain committed to continue working together because only together progress continues.
The Office of the Prime Minister invites you to join us at the 2nd Annual Belize Investment Summit from August 30th to September 1st, 2023 at the Grand Caribe Resort on Ambergers Key. Belize, the land of endless potential, with a vibrant people and economy and a wealth of natural resources, is the region's premier investment hub, offering a range of opportunities across sectors including the blue, green, and orange economies. The Belize Investment Summit 2023 is your chance to explore these opportunities and connect with potential partners, investors, financiers, and stakeholders from across the globe. This 3-day summit will offer networking opportunities, site visits, one-on-one meetings, roundtable discussions, business pitches, an expo, and keynote presentations from government officials and industry leaders. Gain insight into Belize's investment climate and the incentives that make our country the destination for investment. Register now for the Belize Investment Summit 2023 and discover a world of opportunities. Be a believer. Invest in Belize. Thrive in Belize.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Leanne Williams. Over the weekend, police in Corozal town detained a group of 7 Mexican nationals who were reportedly believed to be hired guns sent to Belize by a Mexican cartel to execute a well-known drug dealer in Corozal. Since their detention, the police department has been working with local and neighboring counterparts to determine the validity of these reports, which indicate that the men are affiliated with the Caborca cartel, which operates in southern Mexico. In an interview with the Minister of Police, Honorable Karim Musa today, he gave an update on that matter, which he says is currently in the hands of the Immigration Department.
As you are aware, about 48 hours ago or so, the MIT specialized unit of the police department in Corozal identified suspicious individuals within the vicinity of the Corozal Town Park. These individuals were detained, and upon their detention, word quickly spread across the border And that is when some social media news outlets released allegations that these individuals were perhaps sicarios or cartel members. We have been doing our local investigation and international investigation, liaising with our counterparts in Mexico very closely and getting information from them. And what I can say is that so far, nothing has come back to indicate that they are, in fact, cartel members. And so what may be transpiring, and the Commissioner of Police alluded to it in his interview, is that perhaps these men came into the country looking for work, and there may be others who are actually engaged illegally working on job sites. And so that is kind of where the investigation is currently going. But of course, it is still open. We are still waiting for further information from Interpol in relation to these individuals, but it is now in the hands of immigration.
So it was more an immigration issue than a criminal?
Like I said, it is still open, so I don't want to conclusively rule out anything. Like I said, we are engaging hour by hour with our Mexican counterparts and Interpol. And so as of right now, 3 p.m., we haven't received any information to that effect.
One person is claiming, at least in another news outlet, that he recognizes one of the men as someone who was involved in his kidnapping.
Yeah, I can't obviously say whether that is a valid report or not. At this point, that is his account. And of course, the commissioner is aware of that particular account. I discussed that with him this morning. And so we continue to look at it, which is why I'm very careful to say that the criminal investigation, yes, that is still open, but there's also the immigration aspect, which more of the leads are pointing in that particular direction.
The men, according to Minister Musa, were caught driving a pickup truck with Belizean license plate and are said to be in Belize for reasons of work. This information, like others provided, however, are being investigated.
It was a pickup truck.
But
they were not in the pickup truck when they were picked up.
Okay, so
Yes.
the license plates and so were Belizean.
Yes, Belizean license plates. And so that is taking our investigation again in a certain direction. Like I said, that leads us to take the matter to immigration.
As to whether they hired someone to assist to help get them through.
Correct.
Okay, but the Commissioner of Police also said something in relation to UNDP and that they own a company, and so those are things that require being checked out with a bank and so.
Yeah, well, I think that the UNDP will be making a release, because that, again, was preliminary information that was provided to the commissioner from interviews with these individuals. And so they may have provided false information as to their purpose in Belize. And if it is that they're here to work and illegally work, obviously they would give some sort of misdirection as well, because that is also illegal. And so you have to look at that information that the commissioner shared as what was initially put out there. And so at the end of this investigation, both from the police and from immigration, we'd be better able to give a particular detail of all of these aspects.
The men, according to Minister Musa, will likely be released in the coming days dependent on the investigation being carried out by the various entities. Detention of 7 cartel hitmen here in the north of our country is only the latest report, which would indicate cartel activity on our side of the border. In the last few months, government earmarked $1 million to be used for increased operations in the north to combat narco activity, which seemed to be on the rise. While trying to combat this growing issue, according to Minister Musa, poses a major challenge for many countries in the region. Belize continues to work along with its partners on this ever-growing problem.
You're talking Ecuador, you're talking Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and to some extent Belize. I think we have been somewhat immune from it. Yes, there are illicit landings every now and then in Belize, but it happens a lot in Honduras and in Guatemala, these illicit plane landings. And so that kind of activity has been prevailing in our region. We have done an excellent job when compared to the other countries in our region of keeping it out. And that is why the government over 2 months ago said that this is something we have to invest in terms of securing our borders, protecting our citizens, particularly in Corozal. And so I would not say it's something that we can never get rid of, but certainly we are putting every single attention that we possibly can to this issue.
A few weeks ago, Minister Musa, along with the Compol Chester Williams and other stakeholders in the Ministry of Security, attended a high-level meeting in Mexico City, which resulted in further collaboration between both countries.
In Mexico City, about 2 weeks ago, Commissioner Williams was there as well. And as he has indicated to the media already, it's a very high-level confidential meeting, and so we are not at liberty to discuss the details of what was arrived at. In terms of our discussions, it was very fruitful and very productive, and certainly there will be greater cooperation between our two governments on both sides of the border. And so that is as far as I can say in terms of that meeting.
Effective immediately, pharmacists in Belize who work with government will see an adjustment in their pay scale. This was recommended by the Minister of Health and was accepted by Cabinet during its last meeting.
Just yesterday, I'm bossing the news here. Just yesterday, I managed to get Cabinet to approve the adjustments of the pay scale for pharmacists, because pharmacists and dispensers and our drug inspectors, because we've been losing these people to the private sector because of the old pay scale that existed.
Exactly.
So we're able to lobby, and we got the Cabinet support, and so this now will take effect immediately in terms of making sure that we could attract pharmacists within the public sector.
Better
and
opportunity.
retain them, because then they will be better remunerated.
Earlier this month, the sugar industry was rocked with a bombshell high-level court ruling which categorizes part of the Sugar Industry Act as unlawful. This came following a claim made against the Attorney General of Belize by the Belize sugar industry and farmer Russell Navarro in February of this year. The challenge was made against 7 sections of the Sugar Act, which Justice Patricia Farnes found 2 of the 7 sections were unconstitutional. This includes BSI's funding of the Sugar Industry Control Board and the Sugar Quality Control Authority and regulations set to individual cane farmers. This sub-ministerial committee is currently engaged with stakeholders in the sugar industry to discuss the recent ruling and a way forward for all parties. Those discussions, according to Minister Musa, who is the chairman of the subcommittee, have been fruitful and very active.
I think the Judge Justice Farnes ruled that certain provisions, I think 3 out of the 8 or something like that, were ruled unconstitutional. I don't see it as any sort of a damning ruling from the court. That matter is still being reviewed by the Attorney General with a view, of course, to consider appealing it. But that case, which was started long ago, is just one in many other cases, which is why the government asked us to intervene as a subcommittee to try to work along with the parties. And I have to say that both of the parties are still very much engaged, meaningfully engaged in the process. We actually have a meeting with BSI ASR scheduled for next week, Wednesday. And so this is a continuing negotiation, continuing engagement between the parties, and certainly we as the ministerial subcommittee will try to find that middle ground where all the parties can, of course, sign on to a new agreement.
Now, while no indication has been made at this time, Minister Musa says that the decision can be challenged by either party, which would then determine the next step for government in relation to funding for the SICB and its affiliate bodies.
There's no indication yet that there would be an appeal, though, on the part of the government or...
Either party. Both parties, as you know, can appeal because the judge did not grant all of the provisions as unconstitutional, which was the request of BSI ASR. And so both sides, of course, can appeal a decision like this. If I'm not mistaken, the order has not been perfected as yet, but that would then start the the clock ticking, because you would have 21 days from the order being perfected to appeal. Based on the court ruling, again, dependent on whether the matter is appealed or not, because when a matter is appealed, the orders are stayed. Either party can apply for a stay of the orders and it may have to continue. But if it is that the order remains as is, obviously the government will have to find a way to finance and to fund the SICB.
As it relates to the ongoing negotiations between BSI and ASR and the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association on a new commercial agreement, Minister Musa says the hope is to reach an understanding before the current agreement expires in November.
The agreement currently exists. It expires in November. And so that is why the next few months are very critical, very crucial. And as you know, the price of sugar is doing extremely well at the moment, and that sort of has been a buffer to deal with this blow that we are experiencing. But certainly we are hopeful that we can find some resolution to this matter before November.
And Nicaraguan national living in Belize illegally has been given a $1,000 fine, which must be paid forthwith or spend 6 months in prison before being deported back home. Fabian Flores Hastin, 24, a Nicaraguan fisherman living in Belize, appeared unrepresented in court yesterday and pleaded guilty to a charge of entering Belize illegally. Hastin allegedly crossed over into Belize via the Mapan River on July 14th. He was fined $1,000 plus $5 cost of court. He was ordered to pay forthwith, in default 6 months in prison. He will be deported back to Nicaragua after he pays his fine or after he serves his time. Coming up, an animal nutrition workshop for farmers of the North. Stay tuned.
¿Qué tal mi gente de Somos amigos de Red Latina y los invitamos este próximo 2 de septiembre
al 19º aniversario
de nuestra radio Fiesta FM 106.7 en los escenarios de Hypersol. Somos amigos Red Latina. Red Latina, mami. Yo quiero que traiga un beso, el ritmo junto a bailaré. Quiero que traiga un beso, el ritmo junto a bailaré. Y de cintura romperé.
Do you want quick cash for your gold? Then take advantage of Monica's Pawn Shop's big loans on gold and our guaranteed low rate of only 10% on all pawn jewelry. But it doesn't stop there. We also pawn TVs, buy scrap gold, and pawn vehicles that you can still drive. Visit Monica's Pawn Shop today in our Belize City location at number 128 Cemetery Road, our Belmopan location at number 5 Garden Plaza, our Orange Walk location, number 2 Belize Corozal Road. Give us a call at 207-0970 and get more money for your gold jewelry.
The BTIA Orange Walk chapter does it once again, celebrating culture, tradition, and talent with its 6th BTIA Orange Walk Tourism Expo. It's all happening on Saturday, August 26th as of 10 a.m. at the Orange Walk Central Park. Come out and get great deals on products and services from all the dynamic businesses. There will be cultural presentations and live musical performances. Let us ignite your pre-September celebrations and come out to the BTIA Orange Walk Tourism Expo. See you there.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited, SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Cattle farmers from across the north today participated in a workshop on animal nutrition carried out at the Yo Creek station here in Orange Walk District. Today's training comes through a partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise and included 4 expert facilitators, 2 from Guatemala and 2 from Colombia, who are all affiliated with the Colombian livestock feed company Somex SA, which has branches all over Central America. This morning's session focused on the theory of animal nutrition and finding ways to enhance the way farmers carry out their business to help combat the effects of climate change and earn more money at the same time.
Hoy en día los países necesitan buscar de qué manera alcanzar un desarrollo sostenible, y este desarrollo sostenible está básicamente enfocado en las actividades básicas primarias que se hacen, como la agricultura y la ganadería. Países que estamos nosotros, tanto en Sudamérica como en Centroamérica, tenemos mucha actividad agrícola y también tenemos grandes áreas de bosque que proteger. Entonces debemos empezar a mirar cómo a través de ser más productivos en actividades como la agricultura o como la ganadería, podemos alcanzar un desarrollo sostenible sin impactar negativamente el tema de la biodiversidad, por ejemplo, o cómo podemos empezar a adaptarnos a ese cambio climático, porque realmente en este momento no podemos hacer nada frente a eso. Es una adaptación que debemos hacer, y sobre todo esos modelos productivos en el tema de la ganadería debemos empezar a revisarlos y adaptarnos a esas condiciones. Nosotros como empresa apoyamos el tema de la nutrición como un factor clave en ese tema de adaptación al cambio climático. Hoy tuvimos la oportunidad de participar con un grupo de ganaderos muy importante de Belice, y la intención principal de nosotros es transmitir el conocimiento que hemos alcanzado durante el tiempo que llevamos en el tema de nutrición mineral. Y una de las cosas muy importantes que debe tener el ganadero presente es que la nutrición es un pilar fundamental para mejorar la productividad. En este caso, cuando yo hago que un animal coma mejor, que esté en situación de confort, que yo le dé las condiciones necesarias para que él se desarrolle, pues voy a obtener mejores resultados, y obviamente, como se trata de un negocio, que esa rentabilidad que yo estoy buscando se pueda dar de manera positiva.
The next step for participants include practical trainings where expert trainers will utilize local animals and farms to demonstrate the feasibility of enhanced mineral nutrition and its benefits.
El primer paso es informar, dar conocimiento. Esa es la primera fase, hacer una sensibilización. La segunda fase ya se basa en unas visitas de campo, en las cuales vamos a estar en algunas fincas que puedan empezar a adoptar los modelos o las recomendaciones de nosotros. Una vez ya esto se tenga implementado, se hacen unos ensayos para evidenciar que los resultados sí son posibles a través de esos manejos. Y finalmente, al terminar el ejercicio, se hace una evaluación económica para ver cuál es la rentabilidad de adoptar esas nuevas propuestas en el manejo de la ganadería. A todas las personas que se dedican a la ganadería, es que podamos ser muy flexibles en adaptarnos a las condiciones que estamos viviendo hoy en día. Cada vez es más difícil ser productivo, alcanzar estándares de calidad a bajo costo. Entonces esto lo que hace es que debemos reencauzar las estrategias que podamos implementar nosotros en la forma como hacemos las cosas. Y una de esas es, primero, hacer un buen análisis de la realidad en la que estoy en este momento productivamente, y a partir de ahí, ¿qué puedo mejorar con estrategias que no me demanden una inversión muy grande? Yo creo que eso es lo más importante, poder tener una apertura de pensamiento que nos permita adoptar nuevas tecnologías.
To ensure the viability of the cattle industry in Belize, the Ministry of Agriculture continues to work in partnership with a number of stakeholders, both locally and internationally, to facilitate training sessions and capacitation for farmers across the country.
The ministry takes this capacity and institutional building and capacity building training for farmers primarily because we know that training is important. By the mere fact that we have different farmers from different communities and having a platform like this where they can share their own experiences, it's a lot. And I think they can share good practices and good technologies that have worked for them. So basically, this is a platform for dialogue, coordination among other entities, because we also have BAHA here, we have the Belize Livestock Producers Association, and we also have the ministry personnel, technical personnel from the Ministry of Agriculture, and we also have the BLPA officers. So we are closely working at the national level. What we are also doing now is we are moving at the international, regional level, where we are bringing experts from Guatemala, we're bringing experts from Colombia, who have a wealth of knowledge in this area. And what we are doing is bringing it to the layman terms, farmers' language, for them to appreciate and understand why is it important to have minerals, why is it to have a well-balanced diet for our cattle if they are to perform. And obviously with this we will incorporate the cost analysis so that at the end of the very day we want to know that it is making money, because farmers will not get into a technology that will not benefit them, that will not impact their pocket. At the end of the day, it's putting more money into the farmer's pocket. So for the ministry, enhancing their capacities, competences, skills in the area of livestock, sustainable livestock production system, because the focus of the ministry right now is to move to a more sustainable green beef production system, bringing in the silvopastoral system that is more, we cannot just think about cutting the forest and just having extensive areas of production, cattle production, and we don't have proper technologies that can increase productivity, meaning that we can produce far more within a smaller unit area. So we want to be efficient, we want to be productive, we want to be competitive, we want to be sustainable across the social aspect, the environment aspect, the economic aspect, technological aspects, to at the very end benefit and improve the livelihoods of our farmers. So the main focus here for the ministry is to empower our cattle producers to have the knowledge, the information, the technology, to understand the technology, to know how to apply the technology, and more importantly, how to measure the economic benefit that it will bring to them, to make them more resilient to climate change, to make them more productive, and to, at the very end, to put more money into their pockets.
The training saw participation of close to 50 farmers from both Orange Walk and Curacao, as well as personnel from the Ministry of Agriculture, BAHA, and the BLPA. On Tuesday, former cop Elmer Na returned to the Belmopan High Court, where he is awaiting trial in the triple homicide case of David, John, and Vivian Remnares. As we told you yesterday, his court case was adjourned to late September as the special prosecutor assigned to the case has not yet entered the country. Upon his return to court, it is expected that the attorneys for Elmer Na will file a challenge to the case, which they say do not have enough evidence to stand up in court. Today, the Minister of Police, Honorable Karim Musa, spoke on the matter, reiterating the department's confidence in the evidence they have that back up the charges levied against Na.
I can't get into the evidence, but what I can say is that the video is not the only evidence on file, and so he, in my opinion, would have a charge to answer to. And yes, the special prosecutor should be here. We are wrapping up our negotiations with him as we speak, and certainly he'll be here for the next court date.
Despite the fact that he has one of the toughest ministries to deal with, the Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, continues to lobby for his people in Orange Walk East. As the area representative for one of the largest constituencies in Orange Walk, Bernard has ensured that residents of the East get a fair share of the pie. Today, he spoke to us about the plans in the area of electrification.
As you know, Orange Walk Town has outgrown itself in terms of Orange Walk East. There's no land space for growth here in Orange Walk Town itself. And so we have to go further.
Okay.
And so, for example, in the Carmelita area where we have distributed land in that area by the tower, there have been several persons who already had title in those areas as well. We have been lobbying with the Ministry of Public Utilities with BL to see if we could get lighting expanded in that area. In Santa Marta, there's a lower area going down that we need to also put in electricity. We have already identified that there are public roads. Guys, I understand that one of the issues that BL had was that they did not go in to put in the lampposts and the lights because they wanted to ensure that the road network was actual government road, public roads. And so that has been confirmed. We have done that. In Palmar, we have identified areas as well that need expansion.
As it relates to the Starter Homes project, 5 have been built and handed to their rightful owners in the east. Applications are currently being received for 20 more homes.
In Palmar, we have a team of surveyors on the ground surveying Palmar land, the new expansion area, but also resurveying the entire village. And that I want to thank the Deputy Prime Minister for making that commitment to us in that context. That now, in terms of land distribution, Kami, as I said, Orange Town doesn't have land. So I was able to lobby with the Deputy Prime Minister, and we have identified area on the highway. The only issue is that it's on the highway going out, passing Carmelita on the left-hand side. We are hoping that we could get 510 house lots in that area. Wow. That will also be designed to house community center, police substation. Wow. So the plans have been designed to ensure that it's a community that we want to build.
Something similar to like San Lorenzo.
Right, yeah, exactly. Something similar to that. I've had several applications that have come into the office. I've asked people to, you want to ensure that young people get access to piece of land.
Get to that.
People that don't have a piece of land. Because I have also said to people who come to our office and said, I want a piece of land, but you have that land.
Right.
Or you own a lot of land. So give the opportunity to others who need a piece of land. And this is the reason why I want to make this a priority for single mothers, for young persons who are independent enough to own that piece of land. And I encourage them, when you get this land, do your process, pay your lease, get your title as soon as you can, but don't sell the land. Residents of Carmelita also have an area that we need to ask the minister to see if we could come in to subdivide, an area that people were given some lot numbers, but the area is not subdivided. So we want to see if we could lobby to the minister to go in there and have his team survey that. It's a huge area too. That's the opposite side of that main road that runs what you call the Sandpit Road on the other end. So there's available land there for the villages, for the people, residents of Carmelita. And Santa Marta, likewise, we're identifying area in the Santa Marta area for farmland, because we have a lot of people who are farmers in that area and want a piece of farmland. And I've made it absolutely clear, and I agree with the Deputy Prime Minister, that we don't want to be issuing out 50 acres and 100 acres of farmland. Right. Let us give people only 10 acres of farmland. Let them start somewhere and share this as much as we have. There's limited land already, but we want to make sure that it's made available to those who really deserve that piece of land.
Tomorrow, a new sculpture exhibit will be opening at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts titled Tanglewood, featuring the work of sculptor Carl Gordon at the Belial Art Gallery. Gordon has been sculpting from the age of 19 and since then has produced and sold numerous pieces. To date, he is considered a prolific sculptor who's made a life from carving.
I do work, I do put everything in my work. I don't leave out nothing. As long as I know that there are certain things that I haven't done on it, I make sure that I get it done, because it's me out there. It's not the money, it's me out there. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why you see, my work is the way it is, different from all the other artists. The art that I have here today, none of them here isn't commissioned. These are all on my own. And I've been doing this for the last, let's say, 15 years preparing for my exhibition.
One particular piece at the exhibit took Gordon 1 year and 2 months to be completed. For the entire collection, though, he has been preparing many years.
I get my inspiration through the clouds, and when I go, especially in the morning when I go jogging, the images that I see, it's not like I would go literally to see that particular image, but when I see it, that's the time when I know that, well, yes, I want to do that piece of sculpture that I saw in the clouds, you understand what I'm saying? And I literally take the skies or the clouds for my classroom, you know? And I'm being taught by the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I guess I am where I'm at today. I source a lot of my wood from the seashore, you know, a lot of driftwood work I put together. And like I said, he provides for me in every way because, you know, whenever the river crests or flood, you know, through a lot of rains or whatever storm we would probably have, all those logs come through float down through the river, empty out in the sea, and it flushes down on the seashore, and there is where I get my wood.
With Gordon ascribed as one of Belize's leading sculptors, he has been named the recipient of this year's Belize at 42 George Gabb Award for Visual Arts by the National Celebrations Commission. The exhibit also forms part of the many activities planned by Niche in celebration of its 20th anniversary.
One of those is for us the visual arts and giving some focus and attention to that specific artistic discipline this year. So, you know, we have a lot of things in store here, and one of them most certainly is this particular art exhibit with Carl Gordon. You know, he is being recognized this year by the National Celebrations Commission. He is the recipient of the George Gabb, the Belize at 42 George Gabb Award. And so we are, you know, pleased to have this exhibit to coincide with his recognition. We have known Mr. Gordon for a number of years. This is not our first time displaying his artwork here, his sculptures here in the Bliss. He has participated in different events we've had as well in the past. I know in the past we had a sculpture symposium one year, and he was a key figure in that. We also had a commission of some pieces that went to Taiwan recently, and he was also one of the artists involved with that. So he is no stranger to the art scene at all. As a matter of fact, I don't know if he mentioned, but he is actually a student of George Gabb himself. So he is receiving an award named for his teacher. And in a sense, the teacher has become the master now. And so we are very proud. And the student has now become the master. And so we're very proud to partner with him and host this exhibit.
The exhibit opens on Thursday, August 24th at 7 p.m. and runs until September 8th. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, August 24 here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.